So me being black, people rushing towards me, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting the fuck out of here.
You may not know right where you're going, but I do, I do, I do. And all the time you wasn't chosen, well, I'll make it up to you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time ever clicking on one of my videos, my name is Jalen, so welcome. I hope that you enjoy the content that you see here. There's lots going on. There's fashion, there's makeup, there's beauty, there's all type of stuff. So if you are new here, you may be unaware of the fact that I am a proud Gemini, and what that means is basically I have a lot of hobbies, interests, jobs, and trades, and one of those trades outside of YouTube is bottle service and bartending. The reason that I'm here today is because I want to tell you guys a story time about a night that I had while I was doing bottle service. And this is going to be a more serious story time because I just feel like it's important for people to know, not only the pros that come with working in nightlife, but the cons and the risks that you have as well, because nobody really talks about that on a real level. I feel like it gets very glossed over. So I definitely wanted to share this experience with you guys because I'm not gonna lie, like this kind of traumatized me a little bit, and for a while I never thought that I would go back to working in nightlife. But fast money can be very addicting, like very seriously, and that's just another topic for another video. But yeah, so before I get started with this video, I want to ask you guys to please give this video a thumbs up. If any point in the video you have any questions or comments that you want to add, definitely type those down below. And if you're feeling the vibes, go ahead and subscribe. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this story. So I'm not going to be like naming any specific places or anything because honestly, like, I don't want to like put a bad reputation on anybody's place of business. And what happened this night, I really don't blame the establishment. Like, there were some other factors that led up into it that I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to be using fake names and fake places when I talk about this space. Let's just call the place that I was working at Club Zero. So at this point in time, I was working at Club Zero for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks, if that. I had just got hired at Club Zero, and Club Zero was a very popular nightclub in my city. And at one point, it actually was the nightclub where like the most popular bottle girls and bartenders worked. So it was really like the place to strive for. And whenever they had auditions or castings, it will always get filled very quickly because everybody wanted to work at this nightclub. So when I got the opportunity to work at this nightclub, I was super excited because I actually didn't even have to like really apply. So this is what happened. At the time when I first got into bottle service, I went and followed a whole bunch of different pages, like different clubs, different promoters, like owners of clubs, anybody who was associated with the nightlife in my city. I followed them and I like interacted with their content. A lot of them followed me back, some of them didn't. But basically what happened, I had followed the owner of this particular club probably like 2 or 3 years prior. My social media had grew substantially in that time frame. So I guess they had saw me on social media and they just decided to reach out to me because I was doing bottle service at another club. And my posts would do pretty well. So I was like a well-known bottle girl at the place I was at previously. I had stopped doing bottle service for probably about 6 months or so, and I really didn't have any plans to get back into it due to the last place that I was at, which again, a whole nother story time. If you guys want to hear about some petty, messy drama, I will definitely put y'all on to that. But anyway, I wasn't planning on doing bottle service again. But when this club owner had reached out to me and it was like the club that I really, really wanted to be at, I was like, okay, I cannot let this opportunity pass. I have to show up and see what's up. So basically he hit me up and he was like, hey, like, are you still interested in doing bottle service? I was like, yes. He was like, okay, call this number. This is our hiring manager. Like, she's going to tell you everything you need to do. So I call up the hiring manager. She basically tells me, come in this day at this time, wear this, and I'm going to get you like all squared away. So I come in for my interview, and like all the other girls that are there, like, you know, they're doing their applications and stuff. And I tell her, you know, I was messaged by the owner. So she kind of pulls me to the side after like she finishes interviewing all the other girls. And she just tells me, okay, you're going to start this day at this time. If you have experience doing bottle service and, you know, you come looking nice, you're professional, a lot of times you're going to get hired on the spot, especially if you have experience. So I come in for my first night. It was a great night. Like, honestly, when I was at Club Zero, I was like, yo, I could really see myself working here long term, because every night I was making good money. The girls like had good vibes. Even like the little pettiness that would happen here and there, like it wasn't even that serious for real. Like everybody still had a good time. And I just like really liked the vibes. It was a super professional environment. The hiring manager and our bar manager was great. Like I just was digging it. So fast forward, the reason that Club Zero was hiring so many new girls was because we were going into homecoming season. So going into homecoming season, like especially if you're in a city where there's a lot of colleges, it's going to be really busy. So everybody who had just got hired was super excited, because homecoming, we just knew we were going to have events where we were making 500, you know, 700, maybe even 1,000. It was really no telling, because homecoming just is lit like that. It's like one of those times, kind of how like spring break is here in Miami. Homecoming was like that where I was at. And all the girls are super excited. You know, we bought all of these cool new outfits for homecoming, just really anticipating to have a great turnout. So the week of homecoming, there was events every single day. Like it wasn't just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like how it normally is. It was events, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all week long. So every girl like was scheduled evenly on the schedule so that we will all get an opportunity to make some good money during homecoming. Now, the crazy part is the night in question that I'm going to be telling you guys about, I was not even scheduled to work. So when it came to ordering our new uniforms, our bar manager just collected everybody's sizes, told everyone how much money to send her, and then she ordered everybody's uniform. So we had to come and pick them up from the club. So Club Zero was about an hour away from where I actually lived. And we had to have our uniforms picked up by, I want to say Tuesday, because my first day of work was like Thursday or something like that. So I remember telling my bar manager, you know, I'm on the way to come pick up my uniforms. Is there any way that I can work since I have to make this drive? And she was like, well, we really don't need any more girls right now, but you know, I'll let you know if anything changes. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll still have to come down and get my uniforms anyway. It doesn't really matter. But because I had already asked about working, I wasn't like prepared to work. So I didn't have on my outfit. I didn't have my boots or my fanny pack or anything like that. So I ended up pulling up. I get to Club Zero. You know, I see my bar manager. She hands me this little bag that has my uniforms in it. And I remember it was so cute because it had like a little card in it that was just like, you know, thank you so much for working. I really appreciate you. And I remember feeling like, oh my God, like these little things are just why I love working here so much, which is what makes the events of the night even more tragic. So as I'm picking up my uniform and we're talking, she's telling me, you know, it actually is a little busier in here than I was expecting. If you want to work tonight, you can. I was like, okay, perfect. Like, I just have to go get, you know, some shoes or, you know, something, because I wasn't really prepared to work. So I wore one of my outfits that was like new that I was supposed to wear later in the week, because I was like, you know, the same people aren't going to be here. But I didn't have any shoes and I didn't have any fishnets. So I decided to go up the street to like a lingerie store to get some fishnets, you know, to see if they had any shoes. They had fishnets, but they didn't have shoes. So they also didn't have a fanny pack. So I'm like, how am I going to keep my money throughout the night? Like, so I'm leaving there. I'm like going to Walgreens. I'm just going all around the city trying to find a place that's open where I can get some comfortable shoes and a fanny pack. But because it was like so late in the night, like I want to say it was already like 11:30. A lot of places were already closed and I couldn't find anything. So I just decided, you know what? I don't want to miss out on any more money than I already missed out on running around, ripping and running, trying to find something to wear. let me just go ahead and head back to the club because club opens at 9. It's 11:30 now. You know, I done missed out on 2.5 hours worth of money. So I get back to the club and it's like jumping in there. Immediately, I already have a section. In the section that I had, they were already sitting down. They were already like, you know, in their vibe or whatever. So I'm telling you guys all this build up because literally the events of this night happened so fast, like so fast. So I went over to my section and I remember it was like this light-skinned dude with dreads, and him and his friends, it was just a couple of guys. I guess the girls hadn't got there yet, but they just seemed very disinterested in being in the club. And it just kind of threw my vibe off. Like, I just felt like there was a very off vibe in the club. And looking back, I think the guys, because they were already there, they had already kind of started to sense that there was some beef going on or that there was just tension in the club. I don't know, like, but I could tell that the vibes were really off. So I go up to the guy in my section and I'm like, hey, you know, can I get you guys anything? Are you ready for your bottle? They're like, no. I was like, okay, well, do you want any water, any juice, Red Bull? They were like, yeah, actually, can you bring me a Red Bull? The guy hands me $5 and I proceed to walk to the bar. Now, let me like kind of give you guys a quick rundown of how Club Zero is laid out. So you have the bar in one area and then you have the actual club in another area. So the bar is right by the door. So right when you walk in, you see the bar. And the club is like in a different section. So when I go to the bar to get his Red Bull, I'm going in like a completely different area. I get to the bar, I give the bartender the money, I get the Red Bull. Literally, as soon as I get the Red Bull in my hand, I hear this loud noise that I thought was a balloon popping. And I grab the Red Bull and I turn to kind of see like what's going on. And literally people start rushing towards me. Because like I said, I'm by the door because I'm at the bar. So me being black, people rushing towards me, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, so I immediately like take the Red Bull and I just like run out the door. Like, I run out the door. I'm outside. Like, I don't want to talk too much about the layout outside. Because like I said, I don't want to like, this is still somebody's place of business. So I'm outside and I basically find an area outside to hide because as people are running out, I hear them saying, it's gunshots, it's gunshots. So as people are running, like I said, it was only 2 like loud sounds. Maybe 3 actually. It might have been 3. But either way, it was 2 or 3 loud sounds and then it wasn't any more of them. So as people are running out, some people are like, oh my God, it was a gunshot. Oh my God, it was a gunshot. Other people are like, y'all are tripping. It was just balloons. Like it was just the balloons popping. But in the midst of this, and this time frame that I'm describing is literally all within like a matter of seconds. Like this isn't even a full minute when all this is happening. As they're saying this, I see a girl stumble out the club and she like falls near the entryway. So immediately I'm like, oh my God. Like I felt like because of where I was hiding, because I could literally see everybody running out. Because I like to be like, to know what's going on. You know, I wasn't just trying to run aimlessly because I don't even know who, you know, has the weapon. Like, I'm not just about to just take off and just be in the middle of the street. So, like, where I'm hiding, I can literally see everything that's happening. So, I see the girl fall, and I think I was the first person to see her fall because people are still, like, running around her. So, I start to run towards the girl because I felt like whoever was in the club doing all that, they was gone by then because people was all running out. So I start going towards the girl and I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's not saying anything. And then her friends start gathering around her and they're like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? What's going on? Meanwhile, it's 2 dudes behind her who came out after her who were like, y'all tripping. It was just balloons. Like, it was just balloons that popped. And that's when they looked down and noticed that the girl had blood on her shirt. Like, I'm going to stand up and show you guys. So you can see it's like in this area where your butt kind of comes out. She had like a white shirt on and it was blood around her shirt. And at this point, the girl still has not said anything. Like, she's just kind of sitting there. Like, the way she fell forward. So, how she was positioned now, she was sitting and she was like leaned over forward. And we could just see the blood on the outside of her. So, her friend saw the blood and was like, oh my God, she got shot. So instantly I go into like a panic mode and I'm like, we have to call the police. Like, we have to get her some help immediately. Like, this is somebody's child because like I said, y'all, this is homecoming. So the people that are in these events are like 18 to 20 something. Like, this is somebody's child, Joe. Like, this could be a freshman. Shit, when I was in high school, I used to sneak off and go to college homecoming parties. So like, you don't even know, this could be a 16-year-old for all we know. Like, so I'm like calling the police and stuff. I'm trying to explain to them where we are. I'm telling them the address, like, and I give somebody else the phone. I'm like, give them her information and all that stuff. So I'm sitting with the girl, like, and she's just in such a state of shock that still, like, as we're calling the police, as all this is going on, she's still not saying anything. So after a while, the owner of the club who had messaged me had came out and my bar manager came out. And when they saw the girl, like, they already knew it was over because she had indeed been shot. And people like were saying like, oh no, she wasn't shot. Like, she just got grazed. She hit her hip on the door. Like, they were trying to make all these other narratives until the shock finally like wore off of her. And she just started screaming. Like, she just started screaming and it made me feel so freaking bad because it was like, what can we do to help this girl? So somebody, one of her friends calls her mom, and I want to say that was probably the most heartbreaking moment because even though she was okay, and she was okay, like, she did end up being okay, to hear her mom, like, someone have to tell her mom, oh, your daughter came out tonight and she got shot. Like, the mom like started crying. And I think that pulled her out of her state of shock. And that's when she started screaming. And it was just like so much. So the police end up getting there. They take a look at her and the bullet was still inside of her, like where she was at. So they immediately transported her to the hospital, where they removed it from her. Come to find out, there was actually another person who got shot this night as well. But it was just crazy. Like, it was just so crazy. So after she's taken to the hospital and everything has been cleared out, like, we're getting questioned. Like, all of the waitresses are getting questioned. Basically, the police just want to know, did anybody see anything? And I genuinely didn't see anything because I was in the other area. But there were girls who did see something that didn't want to say anything just because of like how our culture is, no snitching, etc., etc. But it really broke my heart because I'm like, the person who did this, they need to like go to jail. Like, we're not in the streets, my nigga. You need to go to jail because you just fucked up all of our livelihood. Like, the club eventually ended up having to be shut down and we were all out of a job. And this week that we were all anticipating so highly to make all this money was canceled because you are not allowed to have a weapon in the same area as somewhere that serves alcohol. And the reason why I say I don't blame the place of employment where I was at was because the place I worked at before, I knew those promoters. One of those promoters from the place I worked at before was working at this club that night. And the club I worked at before was notorious for people breaking out into fights. And they had literally just been shut down a few months prior because someone had got shot. So I'm willing to bet my last dollar that this specific promoter allows people to pay extra to bring their weapons into the club. And that was something that I never expected because the security there was just so heavy on guard. But the only way to really get past security is by being with the promoter. Like, if you're like with the promoter, like, they're not really going to search you because it's like, oh, you work here. You feel me? So yeah, that was crazy. I remember like on the ride home, I just like was bawling, crying, and just feeling so, just a mixture of emotions. Like, one, grateful because that girl, like, it was, the bullet was not even intended for her. Like, the two people that got hit, like, were just innocent bystanders, and I'm like, that easily could have been me. Like, you know. And then I was just overwhelmed with emotion for the girl, for her family, and just feeling so terrible that this was the experience she had to have to start off her homecoming. But that was crazy. That was pretty much the story. Like I said, guys, this was definitely a more serious story time, and it really hurts me to like really think about it for real because nobody ever expects that something bad is going to happen when you go out to have fun. But I wanted to tell this story to tell y'all to be careful, bro. Like, be careful. Whether you're going to the club just to go out to have fun, to have drinks, like, stay aware of your surroundings. You know, pay attention to the security that a club has. Like I said, this club did have good security. So, but still, like, just pay attention to these things, you know. Try to peep the vibes. If it looks like it's getting tense in a function, like, leave, because you never know what people are on nowadays. Like, and this just isn't for girls that work. This is for anybody. Like, so I hope that this message, you know, helped you, and it will help you in the future to be more cautious. Send prayers to that girl, even though this happened, you know, this happened a while ago. You know, still send prayers to that girl because I know that that's something traumatizing that could stick with you for life. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I hope this story gave y'all some insight and some value in some type of way. And if you want to see more story times, you want to know more about Nightlife, I have so many more stories. Like, don't worry, they're coming. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I love you guys so much. Please stay safe. And remember, in order to live your life to its fullest, you must live fearlessly. Bye, guys.